Welcome to Haunted Escapes with Chris and Diane.
This podcast will talk about strange and mysterious stories from around the world.
Some will be about places we've been and experienced for ourselves,
as well as things we've learned and read about, including hauntings, folklore, and cryptids.
Join us on our Haunted Escapes. Chestertown, Maryland has a rich history that dates back to its founding in the early 18th century. Situated on the Chester River, it quickly grew into a significant port and a hub of colonial activity. Established in 1706, Chestertown was named one of Maryland's 6 royal ports of entry. Its location on the navigable Chester River made it a major center for trade, primarily exporting tobacco and grain. By the mid-18th century, it was the second largest port in Maryland, rivaled only by Annapolis. The town's prosperity is still visible in the many well-preserved 18th century homes and buildings that line its streets. In 1774, mirroring the famous event in Boston, residents of Chestertown staged their own act of protest against British taxation. According to local lore, they boarded the British ship Geddes and threw its cargo of tea into the Chester River. This event is celebrated annually with the Chestertown Tea Party Festival. In 1782, following the American Revolution, Washington College was founded in Chestertown. It is the 10th oldest liberal arts college in the nation, and George Washington himself contributed funds and served on its board of visitors. As Baltimore grew into a major port in the 19th century, Chestertown's commercial prominence declined. This decline, however, had the unintended effect of preserving the town's historic architecture, as it wasn't redeveloped with new construction. Chestertown was officially incorporated in 1805. While its role as a major port diminished, it continued to be an important center for the surrounding agricultural and fishing communities. In the 20th century, Chestertown became recognized for its historic district, which contains a large collection of Georgian and Federal-style homes. Today, Chestertown is known as a historic college town with a charming, walkable downtown and a strong sense of its colonial past. Welcome back to Haunted Escapes with Chris and Diane.
Hello.
So, we've been gone for a while. We had a bunch of personal things we had to take care of. We've got everything settled out now, so hopefully we should be getting back to having new episodes coming out semi-regularly. We were doing one a week, but due to things that have happened and certain new job stuff, we're going to be doing it every other week, so it'll be one episode every 2 weeks.
Yes, and we'd like to thank everybody who sent out emails asking about us, if we were coming back, when we were coming back. We read them all, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much for asking these questions and showing that you cared what was going on with this little podcast. During our hiatus, we did go to a few new places, and we were trying to come up with content. So the first place we went to that we're going to talk about was the Inn at Mitchell House. It's an old colonial-style home that was built back in 1743. Beautiful home. Lots of land out front. It was really, really nice. Here's a little history of the inn. In 1808, Joseph Thomas Mitchell bought 200 acres in a dwelling from his mother-in-law, Mary Granger. He started adding to these 200 acres, but was interrupted in 1814 when he was taken prisoner by the British. Sometime after his release in 1817, he began building a large addition to the original house and finished it in 1825. In 1830, he died without a will, so the Orphans' Court of Kent County inventoried his estate. At the time of his death, Mitchell had amassed over 1,000 acres, owned 39 slaves, and had $3,700 in cash in the Bank of Baltimore. The property stayed in the Mitchell family until 1852, when Joseph Mitchell Jr. sold the property to G.D.S. Handy and J.G. Gordon for $27 an acre. The following owner, John and Annie Armbruster, parceled off 30 acres to the developers of the Tolchester Amusement Park. Tolchester became the summer destination for Baltimoreans from the 1880s until it closed in 1962. The Mitchell House was a private residence, a nursing home for a brief period, and opened as a bed and breakfast in early 1980s. Jim and Tracy bought it in 1986 and continue to operate it as an inn today.
So that's straight from the website from the inn at Mitchell House. And we stayed there 2 nights. And what were your first impressions of the inn?
So, the first thing is, right when we were coming off of, I don't really remember the exact highway, but all the highways in that area, there was like no lights. It was all trees. It was all dark. And we were driving, and it was nighttime when we got there.
Oh, that's right. We got there really late because we were coming from work. And
yes, we wound up getting there really late. It was in like the fall. I think it was September or
I think
October.
it was last September.
So when we showed up, we drove you're driving down the long, dark street, like highway, and here you have to pull off, and it's in a hidden driveway that's way, way back.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you're going too fast, you'll miss it. And you pull off of the main road and you go down this really long, secluded,
like winding road, all covered in trees, and there were 1 or 2 little houses back there, but there's a lot of woods.
Yeah, you go down the long winding road and then you just see this really big, beautiful house sitting by itself, surrounded by just, I don't even know how many acres.
Yeah, it's a real big old colonial home. It's very pretty. We pulled in there, and the parking is on their front lawn. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's got a ton of land. It's got a lake. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of chairs down by the lake that you can go sit down and relax.
I think there was a fire pit, too.
Yeah, there was. There was a fire pit. They had a couple hammocks. We didn't do any of that stuff because when we went there, it was kind of after the season, so it was starting to slow down. But even with that, I think the inn was pretty close to full, if not full, when we were there.
Yeah, and I can see why people have their weddings there because the grounds are just so nice and pretty, and it's just a secluded spot that is great for a weekend getaway. Let me start by saying that Jim and Tracy, the hosts, were very kind. We told Tracy we were coming in late. She wrote us a handwritten letter on how to get in and out and welcoming us, and they were phenomenal the whole weekend. Yeah,
we really got there really late. It was like 8 o'clock or something. And because it's a pretty hefty drive from here. It was probably at least 3 hours, maybe a little over 3 hours. And we didn't get work until 4
or 5.
So by the time we got there, it was late. And we got in there. There was only a few other people who were there at the time. Mm-hmm. So we pulled up, we parked, we got out, and their front door, when we told them we were coming, they left it so we could get in. And so we walked in, like Diane said, there was a handwritten note explaining welcome, telling us how to find our room. Went up to bed, went into the room, and the house is beautiful. But Diane was a little freaked out about all the birds that were stuffed and were hanging in the main entry hall.
Yes. So as soon as you walk in the door, there's some taxidermy, quite a lot of taxidermy on the wall that, as somebody who doesn't like mannequins, clowns, anything like that was a little jarring to me, but our stay there was very nice.
Yeah, I really didn't have any problem with it. I thought it was cool, but Diane does have, I'm sure if you're people who've listened to it before, and if you haven't, we'll let you know now. Diane is deathly afraid of mannequins or the dummies and stuff like that. Things that I guess look very lifelike, but she knows they're not. She gets really weirded out about it.
Yeah, and there was one. I believe they said there were a lot of waterfowl, so right above where the stairs are, and you go up to the rooms, there's a big taxidermied bird over the steps. It was an interesting experience with seeing all the taxidermy that I wasn't expecting. But if that's something you're into, or there's something that doesn't bother you, then
That's really the only complaint.
yeah, just know that that's there. So what about the room? We stayed in the Joseph T. Mitchell room. What did you think about the room?
So the Joseph T. Mitchell room is obviously, it was the bedroom of the guy who originally built the house. And it was like the front room, and it looked out over the lawn. I could see like the lake and everything. So the scenery was really nice. The room itself was really, really cool. It was what you expect from when you go to the older houses. Mm-hmm. But it was really sharp. It had a little fireplace. It had like an old spinning wheel that they would make cloth with. Then underneath, which I thought was a cool little touch.
Yeah.
When you walk in, right next to the bed, on the side nearest the door, when you look underneath like the nightstand. They have
It was a little replica.
Yeah, it's like a small replica of the room, and it's like identical to like the room's layout. It looked really, really interesting. It was really cool. We really liked it.
I don't know who made that, or if it was given as a gift, but it was like a tiny little dollhouse room.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And they had the spinning wheel, which, the house is supposed to be haunted, so I'm like, we're going to wake up in the middle of the night and see that thing spinning, but we didn't.
Yeah, there was also a rocking chair that I said to her, and I think I took a picture of it, and I posted it on Facebook, and I think I actually wrote on there, I'm waiting to wake up tonight and see this thing moving. We did have these giant wasps of some kind, carpenter wasps or whatever, that must have gotten in the house.
Yeah, they were just clinging on the
they were clinging on the walls, they were clinging on the roof, so I was a little nervous that they stung or whatever, and that they would come at us at nighttime, but they really didn't do anything. I guess they got in because it's all wooded, and it's the summer, so it's understandable. But yeah, there was like 4 or 5 of them, and they were big.
Mm-hmm. And the Inn at Mitchell House is a bed and breakfast, and we had breakfast both mornings there. And what did you think of the food?
The food was excellent. I mean, the service was excellent. So the first morning with us, when we came down, the lady Tracy, who owned it and is the main hostess, she met us in the morning, and it was a very nice talk with her. And then we went in, we sat down. She cooks, and her husband brings them out.
Yeah.
He brings the dishes out, and they had 2 dogs.
Oh, yes.
And the dogs were awesome. We're dog people. And these dogs were great. They came out, and they were walking around, and everybody who was there, like I said, we had at least 3 or 4 more people, like couples.
Yeah.
And everybody was sitting there. The dogs were coming around. You could pet them. And
they were so cute.
Yeah, it was really cool.
They're 2 golden retrievers.
Yeah, they're golden retrievers. I can't remember their names, but they were really cool. That's stand out.
Yeah.
And so we had breakfast. The breakfast was excellent. All the food that Tracy makes is excellent. It tasted fantastic. You've been to some restaurants, and this food was better than a lot of restaurants. It was really good.
Yeah, it's homemade, and you could tell it's like what Tracy's, when she makes it, she really cares about it. And you can get some of her recipes are on the Inn at Mitchell House website if you're interested.
Yeah, they were really good. So after that one, we went to the day in Chestertown. They had like a huge farmer's market, I guess it was, that took up like the entire main street for a big chunk of the town. So we went there, you bought some stuff. It was really cool. Then we did some sightseeing. The houses and stuff are beautiful. They're all that old, colonial, Victorian era type homes. They were really nice. Then we went down to the waterfront, and the waterfront was very relaxing. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, we did the walking tour of the town. They have
it's a self-guided.
Yeah, they have the maps on like some of the businesses. You just get one, and all of the buildings that are of significance of the little plates on the walls, and you can walk around and see the history.
Yeah,
they're
all mapped out on the map by numbers, so you can kind of go on your own tour. And you can stop at 1, then you go to 2, and you can hear the whole story of the town. It was neat. So then we went around, and they did not have a ghost walk, because usually when we go into these places, the easiest way to learn some of the ghost stories, and there's a difference between reading a story and actually having somebody tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
When you read a story, it loses something. But when you have someone who tells you the story and they're energetic and they're into it, it's more enjoyable. It brings you into it more. So that's why when we do this, we usually don't like looking up all the stories. We like trying to first do the ones that we hear on the ghost walks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're better told, and there's more life to them than just reading it off of a screen. Now, sometimes, like at Chestertown, their ghost walks are only on Halloween, which I don't know why. If anybody from Chestertown hears this and they have any kind of say, in the summer with all the people there, you should do a ghost tour. You would have tons of people who would want to go on it. Because summer is when everybody's going out and about. Halloween and all that, most people aren't really going places.
And they're fun. I mean, some people aren't into going to the bars or that kind of nightlife, or maybe you need a break from that and you want something fun to do. It's something fun to do, and you learn about the history, you learn about spooky stories, you get a little scared, you might see something. You might take a picture and
you get to meet new people.
Yeah.
There's always people from all over. We just got back from Strasburg, Pennsylvania, which is in Amish country. And we went on a railroad and we went on a Halloween, like a haunted walk. Mm-hmm. And the walk was excellent, which we'll tell you more about that on the later episode. But I just wanted to say, like, what I'm trying to get through is somebody like that, the guy who told us the stories on that walk,
Jordan.
His name was Jordan. He was excellent. We'll talk more about him in the other episode. But he did a really good job and was at the point where you can, you feel as if you're... I'm trying to think of the right way to say this.
He is very passionate, very into it.
Yes, and you can feel yourself being, drawn into the story. Whereas when you just read most of them off the paper, you lose something to it. Chestertown didn't have a ghost walk. That's what I'm getting at.
It would bring revenue to the area. It's a good revenue stream. People are really into it. You might not think people are into it, but every time we go on a ghost tour, there's always at least 10 to 20 other people with us. Yeah, and if they do it weekly, nightly, it's a good revenue stream.
There's a lot with that you can bring into their town, the money and stuff. But back on topic. So Chestertown didn't have a ghost walk. So what we did was
Chestertown does have ghosts.
Yes. They do not have a ghost walk, but they do have ghosts. So the way we found out about the ghosts, we went into, they have a little historic site. It's like a building where they tell you about the town and stuff.
Yeah, it's a historical agency.
Yeah, it's a historical society. So we went in there, and we were looking around, and we found some stories, and we read some little books about it.
And we talked to
this one man who was, I don't know if he was a librarian there, or I know he worked there. And he came over, and he was talking to us, and we told him about the podcast, and we explained what we were trying to do, and how they didn't have the ghost walk, and he agreed with us that they should have it more often. So as he was talking to us about all this, he told us a couple stories. So we got stories from him, then we have stories that we had to look up. So I would very much love to go back to Chestertown when they have a ghost walk and have somebody tell the stories. There's a couple ghost stories we have on here that we found. What do we have? 4, 5?
And we have to get deeper into St. Paul Cemetery.
Yeah, we have 5 or 6. So the first story is about the Kent County Courthouse. Now, I believe this story was actually one that the man from the Historical Society told us.
Yeah.
So this story was, the century-old building is believed to be haunted by the ghost of Esther Anderson, who was sentenced to burn at the stake for poisoning her husband in 1746. People have reported seeing a floating white orb on the stairs, which some believe is her restless spirit. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of messed up that she killed her husband.
I wonder what he did to get poisoned.
We didn't know nothing. She was just crazy.
You don't know that.
Well, you don't know it either. The second story was about Calk's Field. So now, this was cool. I didn't even know about this. I like history, and I didn't know about this. But there was a battle there in the War of 1812. Now, the War of 1812 is a war that we don't really talk about. Not many people know much about it. And I really didn't know this. But there were actually redcoats that were in that area in Pennsylvania for this battle. And the field was the site of a skirmish during the War of 1812. The bodies of fallen British Marines were buried here, and it's said that strange lights can still be seen floating above the ground.
I don't think we went there. We should have went there.
No, because it was dark. By the time we finally found out about it, it was getting late.
We were at the cemetery for a long time.
Yeah, we did go to the cemetery a long time. So we didn't get to go there, but again, if I go back, I'd like to. Because like I said, I didn't even know that battle happened. So that totally surprised me. But also the story with that is the place we stayed at.
Yeah.
So James T. Mitchell was a soldier, and the story that I read said that he fought in that battle and participated in it, and he was wounded. After he was wounded, he was brought back to his house, which is where we were staying, and he was laid up there for quite a long time. I don't think it says that he died from the wound there, but he was there for a long time, and the story is when he did die, that like his spirit, I mean, it was his home, he loved it there, and he did have a serious traumatic experience. So the story is that his ghost haunts the area and haunts that house.
Yeah,
I know. That people like they hear walking up and down the stairs and stuff like that.
I know that they say that they've seen him float through the walls also. So that's gotta be creepy. We didn't experience anything when we were there.
No.
The room did have an eerie feeling to it. I don't know if that's just because of
all the old
antiques and stuff, but we didn't experience anything spooky.
No, sadly, this was one we did not experience anything creepy, but it was still a really cool trip, and the inn is really nice.
Yeah.
The next tale is about the Geddes Piper House. At this historic home, the ghost of Aunt Polly is said to linger. Her presence is often accompanied by the distinct scent of lavender. So this ghost, after we learned about this story, and we were trying to just do some research and find it out, but we really couldn't. We can't tell you why she was called Aunt Polly. Maybe somebody in Chestertown knows. Perhaps during their ghost walk, they'd tell you more about it.
Yeah, if you know, let us know why she's called Aunt Polly. From the research we done, we couldn't find out really any information.
Yeah. There's a theory I have, which I'll tell you after the next ghost story that we're going to tell you, but I can't say that's for sure what it is. There is another ghost known as Kitty, and they originally thought Kitty was another ghost that haunted the Geddes house. Well, now they don't think so. Now they believe that Kitty is a ghost who haunts the Kitty Knight house. So the story goes that during the War of 1812, Catherine Kitty Knight, a resident of Georgetown, Maryland, stood her ground against British soldiers who were torching the town. She is credited with saving her home and the house of an elderly neighbor. After her death, her spirit is said to have remained in the house, which later became an inn. She is known for checking on guests, and some reports claim she has been seen as a tall, imposing, and elegant figure on the staircase. She's a cool ghost. Checks in on everybody, makes sure you're doing good.
And she stood up against the British torching the town.
Absolutely. So now, this is my thought about the Aunt Polly thing. Again, I don't know how close these two houses are, but could it possibly be that Aunt Polly is the girl, the elderly neighbor that this Kitty saved?
She could be.
And perhaps the kid called her Aunt Polly, and that's why she saved her.
That very well could be. That very well could be it.
So, again, I don't know if the houses are that close together. I'm sure somebody will know and be able to tell us. But if they are close together, maybe. Yep. And if that is the truth, then you would at least know who Aunt Polly is supposed to be.
Yeah.
The next story is St. Paul's Cemetery. Now, we did do a lot of stuff here. We actually did a little ghost hunt Diane will post some of the videos and clips and stuff onto the YouTube channel when she gets a chance. But we went to St. Paul Cemetery, and we were there.
We were there for
quite a
about
few hours.
Around 3 hours.
Yeah.
We were originally looking for the grave of Tullaluh Bankhead, the singer.
Yeah.
Because they say, the legend goes that you can hear her singing.
If you put your head on her tombstone.
Yeah, if you put your head on her grave, then you could hear her singing from beyond. Yeah. But we looked everywhere.
Yeah, we couldn't find it.
The cemetery's huge.
Yeah, it is.
And
it was
we
really big.
We were looking everywhere, and it was getting dark.
Yeah, we had our flashlights out. We were walking around trying to find this grave, and then there's a couple other graves that were supposedly haunted. But we were looking. We couldn't find the cemetery, that grave in the cemetery.
Yes.
But we also did some EVPs. We checked EVP to see if we could find anybody. Tons of pictures. I think we even took a little bit of video, like actual recorded video.
Yeah.
So when Diane gets a chance, she just started a new job. So when she gets a chance, because I don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
But she'll look to post it on the YouTube and probably put some stuff on TikTok and Instagram.
We haven't really gotten a chance to really listen to anything yet, but behind the cemetery is a huge pond, and we were hearing all kinds of birds, frogs.
Yeah, splashing, things like that. Now, again, it could have been anything, but take into account, it was dark. You're in a cemetery. The cemetery is supposed to be haunted by multiple spirits, so it was kind of a very disorienting experience.
Especially in the dark.
Yeah, but it was cool. If you ain't never done like a ghost hunt in the dark like that, the stuff on TV when they show it, you'll be like, oh wow, that doesn't look hard. But they really must be staring through the night vision on the cameras, because when you ain't got that, it's dark. You ain't seeing nothing. So, so we went there, and we were there for quite a long time. So here's the little story that comes with it. So, dating back to the 1700s, this cemetery is considered one of the most haunted in the region. Among the many spirits said to reside here is Tench Tillman, a Revolutionary War officer. His ghost has reportedly been seen with a lantern crossing a bridge at the edge of the cemetery on dark nights.
Okay, yeah. I think that was down by the pond.
Yeah, if they're thinking about that. And then, like I said, it sounded like somebody was walking down there, and when we turned around with the camera, I didn't see anybody, and neither did Diane. So, who knows? Maybe it was this ghost.
It might have been, because the pond was huge. It actually had like lily pads and thick, tall reeds growing up out of it.
Yeah, we took pictures, so we'll have them on YouTube. So, that was cool. And then the other story is the cemetery holds the grave of actress Tullaluh Bankhead, and some claim that you can hear her raspy voice when you lay on the grave slab. That's like we were telling you. We were looking all over for that grave, and we could not find it. But the place was cool. We were there for a really long time. It was a real long time. We had to have spent a couple hours out. By the time we got done, it was dark, man. It was like 10 o'clock almost.
Yes, and if you go to that cemetery, I don't know if they close the gates anymore, but if you do go, make sure you put on bug spray, because I remember another thing is that we were getting bit.
Oh, yeah, they were eating us alive. But, I mean, that makes sense. It's a cemetery, there's grass, there's water, mosquitoes are all over. But, yeah, they feasted on our legs.
So, the next ghost story it's from the White House Farm, and it says, this historic farm is the setting for a tragic tale. A young woman is said to have planned an elopement. Her horse bucked her off, and she hit her head on a rock, dying instantly. A lady in white is rumored to haunt the house, and the rock is said to be permanently stained with blood. We didn't go there. If we go back, we'll have to go visit the White House Farm.
We'll have to try to get back again, because there was some, like the Colks Field. We weren't able to go there. this White House farm. Perhaps we can find more about this Gibbs Piper house and see if you can go visit it. Because we got there.
We didn't have much time.
We got there. It was late. We ate, came back, went to bed. Then we spent most of the day at that flea market thing.
Yeah, just exploring the little town of Chestertown.
Chestertown, yeah. So we'd have to go next time and really look for all the ghost stuff. Because this wasn't actually, like most of the time we go places, we'll plan it as a ghost trip. This one wasn't really planned as a ghost trip. It was mine and Diane's anniversary.
Yeah.
So we went there for that. But as we were there, because we're always interested in trying to find out scary stories and experience scary stories, we wound up asking questions and stuff by there, just being inquisitive. Normally, if we were to do this, we would have looked into those houses and we would have tried to find what they were. But like I said, we went kind of blinded.
Yeah.
I knew the inn was supposedly haunted, so I kind of thought that might be cool. But because usually when we go places, we try to find bed and breakfasts, and we're big on trying to find said bed and breakfasts that are possibly haunted by ghosts and ghouls. Just in case, you want to bring back some stories for later on to tell people. I'd like to go in the summer when there's actually stuff to do. Because we went, like I said, it was near our anniversary in September. Most of the stuff was all closed down. It's still nice out, and it still felt like summer, but all the shore towns and stuff, they closed down after Labor Day. And this was well after Labor Day.
So the last ghost story we have is from the Henson Ringgold House. It's the residence of the Washington College president. This house has had rumors of hauntings since the 1850s. A maid who worked there in 1916 reportedly refused to sleep in her attic room after her face was touched while she was trying to sleep. Now, you know all about having a ghost touch you when you're trying to sleep.
In my defense, the ghost didn't touch me. It was trying to cuddle with me. Can't help it that it sees me as a lovable big bear.
Yeah, if you want more information on that, check out our first episode from when we visited the Myrtle's plantation.
Yeah, that was from the Haunted Honey.
I think that brings us to the end of this episode.
Yeah, that's the last of the stories anyway. Like I said, I would really like to get back there.
Yeah, I love the little small seaside towns.
Yeah, Diane's big on them. Bigger so than me. I'm not as much into them. I'd rather stay in like the mountains.
It was a very nice little place, good to get away from the city, the hustle and bustle of life.
Oh yeah,
it's great. If you live nearby or you want to take a road trip, it's
definitely worth a shot.
Great weekend trip.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. I mean, in September or so, if you're going to go to this area, I would say maybe just for a weekend. But maybe in the summer there's more to do, so you might be able to get a little bit more time out of it, but we did not. Chestertown, it was a really cool trip. We enjoyed it.
Yes.
I do wish that we had some kind of a ghost tour we could go on that could have told us more about these houses, because it piqued our interest enough to do a episode on it, but we didn't have a lot to tell you, like to really go into the stories and all the backdrops for it, because we didn't really know any. It is definitely a really cool town. It's very nice, very, very quiet, very relaxing. The inn was fantastic. The hosts were great. The food was great. The location, it's very far removed from the beaten path. So if you're going to be kind of weirded out by that, maybe not go there. Maybe look for something that's going to be closer to people, I guess. Because this one, you were pretty well far removed out from pretty much everything.
Yes, it's very secluded, has a lot of farmland.
It's peaceful. It is extremely a peaceful place, and it's somewhere where you could go and just sit outside and just relax.
But with that being said, we're glad to be back, and we should be putting out episodes every other week.
Yeah, every other week, because Diane does all this stuff. She's the whiz behind it.
Yeah, I'm behind the scenes. Thank you for sticking with us and listening to another one of our episodes.
Yes, thank you again for everybody all the people who messaged us and asked us about if we're coming back and how we were doing. It meant a lot to us to show that it's a It's a good community with the podcast, and everybody helps everybody out.
Yeah.
Thank you for once again joining us on our Haunted Escapes.
Bye.
See you later. Hi, my name is Chris Turner from Penepic Productions, producers of Haunted Escapes with Chris and Diane. We invite you to come listen to our new podcast, where we tell short stories. Many are original. They are written by me as well as others. So if you enjoy being transported to other worlds, then I ask you to come, sit back, relax, and listen to Candlelit Stories. Available wherever you get your podcasts.